Guys, we did it. I have 1,000 subscribers. What am I gonna do? Just yeah. Further, thank you so much, bro. Thank you. Okay, only thing I can really give back to y'all is just trying to be consistent on here. I'm trying so hard, bro. Let's get straight into this. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, we talking about it. Now, I don't really talk about anime on this channel, and I don't think I ever have. I've mentioned it, I've made references, but I've never like directly talked about a show. So this is gonna be a first for me. I've talked about Common Side Effects, Invincible, some other shows, but an anime as one, this is gonna be new. So please bear with me in the comments, bro. Here's the thing, watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was an extremely fun experience. I loved watching it. It was great. I watched all 6 parts, obviously. Like, I sat through all of it. I laughed. I basically laughed the whole time. But the thing about this show is that I have realized consistently that there is an ending and villain problem. Now, I'm actually going to exclude parts 1 through 3 in this because I feel like that was a perfect example of what I thought the show would be. Parts 1 through 3 was obviously Dio and the Pillar Men and Cars, and I felt like that was a good, like, oh, here's this overarching story. Part 4 is when I'm just like, what? I really enjoyed watching part 4, and it felt like this is a good, like, slice of life version of what JoJo's was, and it was good. I actually enjoyed it. And then we got to Kira, who wasn't even revealed until like 2/3 of the way into the show. So at that point, I'm just like, why do I need to know about this guy? Starting with part 4, the main problem that I had with this ending and villain is that it just kind of didn't matter. Like, we have people like Cars, people like Dio, who are actually like world-stopping villains. And this guy, Kira, he's just like, oh, I just want to be left alone and I like hands. Which is like, yeah, like he's a serial killer and he needs to be taken care of. But I don't think he needed to be like the center of the show, especially because he was put in so late. This dude, Kira, literally shows up at like the last moment after they're fighting, which seems to be stands that are way stronger than his. And then out of nowhere, he's just like, yeah, I'm the big boss. I'm just gonna, everyone's in danger. It really did seem like with this part and also like the upcoming parts that they were trying to find a way to like wrap up the show and they just didn't know how. So like, oh, let's have this guy with this extremely powerful stand and we're gonna make it really vague and not explain it at all. So that way you know it's powerful because you can't question it. And it's just like this dude can just explode time and it's like, where was this the last 20 episodes? And why did you make me watch 40 episodes to get to this? No, I'm not denying that some of the fights were fire. Some of the dialogue was, insane. But it's just like the overarching story when it got to this point, it was like there was no buildup at all. I have tons and tons of critiques about this show and I wanted to love it so much, and I do, but honestly the main focus of this is just the villain. But bringing back some of those critiques, for example, like the whole hand stand, aka Okuyasu, and it's like here's the thing, the reason why I don't watch a lot of anime is because they always have like that token stupid character and I absolutely cannot stand it. But just to make sure I don't go on a rant about that for too long, that stand was really powerful, right? Like we see stands like that and you're like, holy shit. Or even like, Josuke's diamond, like that thing was kind of broken, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, like even Jotaro was there. And then we go and fight, this guy Kira, and it's just like, why does this matter? Now, putting that all aside, let's say this was just a slice of life. Kira was just a low C-tier level villain. Okay, he dies by a truck? A truck, bruh?
And the part of all that kind of just like really makes me upset is the fact that it was Kira's son, or whatever his name was. Like, you have all of these main characters that are just so fun to watch. We go back and focus on Hayato, or whatever his name is, and he's the reason why Kira is able to like get out of this time loop thing. Are you for real? And with JoJo's in general, it seems to be a recurring problem where once we get to like the final chapters of whatever story's going on, it just shifts focus to like a whole nother character. I don't care about this kid at all. I don't care about him. He could get blown up just like what they did to my boy Shigechi, and I don't care. Like, look, I understand it's like, oh, like Josuke and Jotaro and everybody else, they were too distracted to figure out what was going on. But also, like, that's the point of the show, so we want to see the main characters. It just kind of like, it kind of all fell apart during the last couple episodes of part 4. I think a good way to fix this is that if we were able to see like Josuke or maybe Koichi or something, one of those characters able to use their wits and their smarts to come to this final conclusion against Kira. It also would have been way better if we got to see a better motive for Kira. I understand that part 4 of JoJo's was supposed to be a slice of life, and I did enjoy that, but that doesn't mean you can't have a good, well-written villain. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like even Angelo from the beginning of part 4 would have made a better villain than Kira. Moving on to part 5, this is where I'm kind of like, okay, what is going on with this show? I really liked part 5. I honestly think part 5 and part 6, I can't figure out which one is my favorite, but I'm leaning towards part 5. It was great. This is kind of like the first time in a little bit where we saw like an established goal with the main characters. We saw a lot of jokes, a lot of funny moments, a lot of scary moments. I think part 5 did a great job on the mystery aspect, but again, once we got to around like, you know, the whole reveal of Diavolo, I was kind of just like, what is going on? Genuinely, what? The first time we finally saw like the big boss or whatever they called him, Diavolo, it was really cool. We have this really strong guy. He has this really strong stand, and you don't want to mess with it. But then also one of the first times that we see Diavolo or his alter ego, whatever, get into a fight, like this guy's about to die, just straight up, like he almost died. So honestly, the thing with Diavolo is like the power scaling is all over the place. There are so many random reveals with his power. It was just a whole writing mess. And on top of that, his motives made absolutely no sense to me. Does he want power? Does he want control? Does he want to like move his fate around? We don't really know, because every time he said he wanted one of those things, he would kind of do the exact opposite. He wanted to control the entire underground mafia, scene, whatever. But at the same time, every time someone mentioned it, he would kind of just like turn a blind eye. He would just ignore it, just act like he wasn't any part of it. He was supposed to be the big boss of the whole operation, but we'd actually see him do any boss things at all. There was more thematic writing around Pulpo, than one of the first bosses kind of that we see in the show, than Diavolo. And Pulpo was pretty cool, but it was just like they slammed him out, he's gone. So when they remove characters like Pulpo, you're thinking, okay, there has to be a bigger boss, a bigger mafia icon. And then we get Diavolo, and this guy's just kind of a bum. All he really did care about is being with his daughter and eliminating her, but even then, he kind of failed at that. It was just kind of embarrassing to watch. Another thing that kind of just really stuck with me was the entire Coliseum fight, and it was kind of just a waste of time. Although there were some really cool moments, I think things like bringing back Polnareff and his silver chariot, it just felt like whatever it was doing, whatever the writing was, it was just delaying the ultimate ending of the show and just increasing the amount of episodes there were. The reveal of having like Requiem stands and everything, I'm sure, I haven't read part 7 or part 8 or however many parts there are. I'm sure that's something they're going to use in the future, but in this moment where the Coliseum was and like the reveal of Diavolo and his, ultimate plan, whatever his plan even was, it just didn't fit into that. Like, why reveal this whole big stand thing now and then only use it for Polnareff and Giorno? I do understand that it shifted the motives of Diavolo. It made Diavolo want to use the, Requiem stand himself. But at this point in the show, in part 5, it is way too late to be shifting motives. It just seems like Diavolo's the character to just pursue whatever he wants to pursue. And that's not really fun to watch. On top of that, the ending itself where Giorno gets to fight Diavolo with his Requiem stand, they explain in the show that Giorno doesn't even really experience what his stand is doing. So that means this entire emotional fight, this whole thing they had to go through and all their friends dying and everything, they didn't even get to experience it. So what was the point? The ending itself is very like epic, if that makes sense, but it's not climactic. I mean, it doesn't wrap any shit up, and even the characters themselves were just confused after Diavolo died. And it's just like, why? What happens now? I think if I were to go back and fix the problems with part 5, I would give Diavolo a clear motive. If that's finding his daughter and actually like doing something with her, if that's achieving one source of power, if that's making him want to like pursue something or be in a certain position, anything that wasn't just, let's just fight everyone that's in my path and I have no actual goal. Because we know Giorno's goal. That was a good writing standpoint. We want him to be at the very top. And he got that, and that was satisfying to see. Everything else was kind of just like, what's going on here? I would also just completely delay the reveal of Requiem stands. I think that Silver Chariot was really cool. I think that Golden Wind was really cool. But I do think these are things that we can either make a mystery, like a complete mystery, or just save for later. Just don't show it at all. Or a third option, give Diavolo the Requiem stand. We want to see 2 of those super powerful stands fight. But if you're not going to make those things happen, there's just a improper balance of power, and then the show just becomes like not really fun to watch. It's kind of just, oh, of course he's going to beat him. He has the most powerful thing in the whole show. And then there's just absolutely no struggle for the next however many episodes. Although his stand was really cool, I think Diavolo was probably one of the most forgettable villains in the entire show. And it sucks because his art style is really cool, his dialogue is insane, but he just didn't really fit into what JoJo's was at all. Like, I didn't really see him being more dangerous than, I don't know, that fucking guy with the green stand. That was scary. That should be the real villain. Anyways, moving on to part 6 is where I was just like, what the fuck? I loved part 6. I loved Enrico, Jolene, every single character in this fucking part was was awesome. I loved it. Until the last 10 episodes. It's the exact same thing with Enrico, where I wish there was a more clear motive. This guy wanted to at first resurrect Dio, or whatever the fuck he was trying to do. Then he wanted to achieve heaven, and then he wanted to, I don't know, make the world a better place. But neither of those things happened. And it's like every single time he spoke, it just got more and more confusing. He did have a very cool stand. He has some very cool moments, but I could not see the vision at all. And I don't like characters that I can't understand. It's just confusing. And even saying that the character is a chaotic and evil person is an explanation in itself. Like Dio, we knew this dude was a bad dude, and that in itself is an explanation. He just wants to cause as much pain as he can to the Joestar bloodline. But for Enrico, he wanted to help people, so he follows Dio? Like, dude, that doesn't make sense. But what didn't make sense to me at all was the last few episodes of JoJo's Part 6, where the entire show focused on Emporio. Bro, I don't give a fuck. Look, Emporio is a very cool character, and I fucked with that little bro for a while. But why is the entire show shifting around him after Pucci finally attains heaven? What I really liked about JoJo's Part 6 compared to everything else is that it was able to follow one storyline and one motive for the main character and kind of the villain for a while. It seemed like Jolene was actually like really upset and really going through a lot with everything that happened with her dad. But then at the last chapter of the show, she doesn't get any redemption for her dad at all. The entire show we were following Jolene, and I love Jolene, what a great character. And then we just throw it all away in the trash for Emporio, who by the way defeats Enrico using oxygen, using a stand that's not even his. Like what? Now, I'm not upset that necessarily Jotaro and Jolene and everyone else lost the battle against Enrico. That was a cool ending to me. I was like, okay, these characters lost, but they kind of won in the same way. It was weird. I think having that was a good twist, but it's like the way they did it just didn't work at all. We don't care about Emporio as much as we care about Jotaro, as much as we care about Jolene. And to take the show and just to shift it onto Emporio, it not only takes away from Jolene, but it also drives all of this hate into Emporio, because now the entire fan base, audience, whatever, is watching Emporio do these powerful things to this powerful character who can speed up time and shift gravity and all these things, and then he kills him with oxygen. Like, don't you think that maybe Enrico was smart enough or even strong enough to prevent that? That if he can speed up time and basically reset the entire universe, that he can survive a little bit of natural oxygen? I was fine with Jotaro dying and Jolene dying and the universe resetting, and even Emporio staying alive or even being a part of the final battle. But it should have been Jolene. People continue to watch shows in general because they find an emotional connection with a character, or they really like the character's motives, or the writing is really good and they just see something in the cast. Or maybe it's satisfying for some people to see a final conclusion to a huge story, like a giant masterpiece of a show. And when you rip that away from the audience and say, no, hold on, you don't get to focus on Jolene anymore, we're gonna put you on Emporio, that pisses people off, man. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think, was a good watch. I enjoyed each part thoroughly until around like the last couple episodes of part 4, 5, and 6. I do feel like that they could have a better chance at writing villains. I do think that they could have a better chance at writing setups for the show. And sometimes the power scaling is just all over the place, but that's what makes it fun. But you gotta kind of at least be consistent in some parts. Like when they dropped the whole Hamon and did stands and said, that was a good fix. I do enjoy all of the wonky stuff that happens, all of the silly and stupid stuff. But when it comes to like overall story and actual like plot writing, it has to work. It has to work or no one's gonna keep watching it. But I'm excited for part 7, whatever happens. Don't fucking spoil it, don't be that guy. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, man. Oh my...